the most precious capital. What is ethical capital? When we do things which we feel are right, not because somebody else will punish us if we didn't do them, but because internal sanctions, internal punishment will follow, we will feel bad about ourselves. That sanction, the sanction from within, that sanction when it regulates our behavior, it becomes ethical capital. The number of supervisors you need in a company will be much lesser if every worker, every producer, every shop floor person was having or was encouraged to have more and more ethical capital. Your quality control expenses go down, your supervision cost goes down, because everybody feels responsible for what he or she is doing. This capital is the one which we need to harness and leverage in our country more and more. Then a new model, a very economical model will emerge. I will talk about few tensions that happen in ecosystem. You know, like sitar, if the wire is not, the string is not tight enough, you can't have a music. But if string is too tight, it may break. So the optimal amount of tension is a fundamental requirement of any ecosystem. If you want a vibrant ecosystem in Marathwada, keep all the ties with different stakeholders tense. There should be some creative tension. Everybody should realize, my God, I'm being watched by the other person. If I don't rise to the occasion, I'll be censored. I may not be liked. My behavior may come under scrutiny. So everybody is watching each other. Everybody is little unpredictable. Everybody is little uncertain. There's a bit of a vulnerability. When we are vulnerable, we can face the truth. Only in the moment of vulnerability, I come close to myself, my inner self. So I believe in vulnerability, making ourselves vulnerable. That makes us humble. नम्रता आती है जीवन के अंदर. हमको लगता है कि शायद अब मुझे कुछ मेरे काबू से बाहर हो गई है स्थिति, मुझे अपनी आवाज़ सुननी पड़ेगी थोड़ी सी अंदर से. और जब मैं अपनी अंदर की आवाज़ सुनता हूँ, नम्र हो जाता हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे मालूम है कि मेरे से कितनी गलतियाँ होती हैं. So then my ability to tolerate others' mistakes, my ability to respect others' mistakes becomes much higher. And it is that feeling which gives us the chance to remember that all good ideas will not come from within. Open innovation has become a byword today, which means ideas must come from wherever they can come. Big companies, you mentioned about Siemens. Siemens had launched an open innovation platform a few months ago. Why would a Siemens or GE or Procter & Gamble need to have an open innovation platform? Because they realize that internal R&D system is not going to provide all the solutions in future. Future is changing. Future is becoming uncertain. Future is requiring much more flexibility, frugality, friendliness. All these attributes I can't bring in my product and services without learning from people outside my company, outside my organization. Therefore, they're creating open innovation platform. An open innovation platform, Honeybee Network started 25 years ago. So we have a history. We have learned from that. We can see how it works. I'll not go into that. I would just come to this slide, which is a very interesting model called as long tail of innovation. This is called long tail of innovation. What does it mean? Long tail means some innovations will diffuse very widely. Some innovations will diffuse very widely. Some less, and some will not diffuse at all. You go to a bus stand or a railway station or airport, there's a bookshop. The best sellers are lying there. How long can you stand there? Few minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes? But when you go to a place where there are 5,000 books, some have never been sold, some are lying on the shelf for 20 years or 10 years, you can spend hours and days and months there if you wish to. So an ecosystem will have those innovations which will go to very large number of people, but will also have innovations which will serve the need of a very small community, maybe 5,000 people, maybe 10,000 people. We were walking in Dhimaji in Assam. The water there has very high iron content. Now, companies may not design a water filter suitable for that region because the demand is limited. Somebody has to do that. And if a local entrepreneur can be encouraged to do that, he will serve the local need, but a national level or an international firm may not go into that region. So how do we create ecosystem where innovations which diffuse in a limited area are encouraged as much as the other innovations? And the long nose of innovation, this one, means when innovations are ahead of the time. I was talking to Dr. Deshpande, when they designed Simputer, one of the most remarkable innovations this country had, and I'm sure he's going to tell us more about it, it was ahead of the time. And when innovations are ahead of the time, sometimes they don't succeed. The mouse of the computer was discovered in the 60s. Till we had Windows 93, we didn't need mouse. People used to telnet and operate by giving Unix commands. When the interface came about which required mouse, suddenly people realized, oh my God, yes, this solution exists. So good ecosystem, healthy ecosystem has good memory of innovations. I go to many companies many times, they ask me for some advice, and I ask them, can you give me one file where all the innovations that came out last year or last month, I can go through them so that we can discuss how to take them forward? And I don't find such file, even in companies having 50,000 crore turnover, 60,000 crore turnover, forget about small companies. We are not good in tracking our own good ideas. My appeal to all of you, good ideas can come from anywhere, good ideas can come from shop floor, track them, keep them. Even if they don't become useful today, who knows that after 10 years we might need that idea. So it is useful to keep a good archive, a good database, a good knowledge base of ideas. And of course, solutions in future will need less material, possibly local material, repairable feature. In every house, there is a corner where boxes of sweets and empty tins of tea are kept. Our society does not train us to waste anything. Ideally speaking, many of us unfortunately have learned the Western ways and are very wasteful in our life. But culturally, and I was a child, at that time shopkeepers did not use envelopes. So if you go to them to buy things, even paper envelopes are costly. So they will take a piece of newspaper, put the things, then fold it, and there was a thread hanging from the shop on the top of the shop roof, and they will take a thread, tie it, and give us the packet. So when we came home, my grandfather will say, okay, now you take the things out. He will take the piece of paper, put it under the bed so that it can be spread, and we'll take that 1 meter of thread, hang it on a nail. So next time we have to give something to someone, we will use the same piece of paper and same piece of thread and tie it again. Even a piece of thread was not thrown. That is the value that we have grown up. Many of you have grown up with that value. What has happened today? What has happened today? Do we have so much resources to waste that we can afford to throw all the things that are around and never think about recycling them, reusing them? It is called circular economy. The future belongs to circular economy, cradle to cradle, not cradle to grave. We must try to find, and Marathwada must create a waste exchange where the definition of the waste is a resource for which use has not yet been found. That is the definition of the waste. Which means somebody needs it, I don't know who. Somebody needs to make something, I don't know what. So we need to find ways of that kind. Is there a waste exchange in Marathwada, in Aurangabad? Milind ji, hai kya? Abhi nahi hai. Banana hai lekin humko. We will make it. And some of the students will work on it so that everybody who has anything to waste will enter in this database. Somebody around the country, around the world will say, I need this material. Yes. And then a use will be found of that material. Our students will do projects in their education system to find applications for this material. Because this is, our society cannot afford to put all of that as a junk. That's not a model that India can develop. So we need to develop a recyclable model. So frugality is flexible, frugality is friendly, frugality is extremely affordable, and we can learn from innovations at different levels. We can learn at artifactual level, we can learn at analogic level, we can learn at heuristic level, we can learn at gestalt level. And I'll briefly explain this so that those of us who want to see how do I learn from an innovation, now that I know about an innovation, how do I learn? So one is, of course, you learn at artifactual level. So what did Muhammad Usman Hanif Patel, class 2, he got an award from Dr. Kalam last year. For an idea which he gave, he did not make the prototype, he gave an idea which was, if I am living in a village and I don't have electricity and I want to have a ceiling fan, what do I do? So he anticipated Wevel gear so that you can use a windmill to run a ceiling fan. Good idea? Sheikh Jahangir, class 2. Now this kind of an innovation idea children have, and they can find different solutions. So this one we saw in Himachal Pradesh. I was taking my students for a learning course, Shodhyatra, and I found this tree. Now this tree didn't know that it's not supposed to branch. By mistake it did. What did it do immediately? It converted that branch into a parallel stem. I call it autopoiesis model of innovation. That means self-correcting designs, self-evolving designs. Our body has tremendous capacity to correct. I'm speaking before you because some of the cells which lost their way, became slightly defective, were repaired by my own body, so they did not become cancerous. Large number of our cells in our body have the ability to repair the mistakes that happen in the nature. Auto repair system. Can we create auto repair system in our innovations so that they become better and better as they are used, they become more, they can be improved by the users and in the process of application. This is an example of how we can learn at artifactual level, and we can also learn at the heuristic level. This windmill that you see here, 5,000 rupees windmill, was designed by Mehtar Hussain and Mushtaq Ahmed in Assam for pumping water for irrigating paddy field, small paddy field. So they have a hand pump here, they will pump it with the windmill, reciprocal action, and irrigate the paddy field. They did not ask, they asked two questions which we don't ask. First question they asked, does it matter whether paddy field is irrigated in 4 hours or 40 hours? The answer is doesn't matter. In fact, if it is irrigated in 40 hours, it is better because slower irrigation means less leaching of nutrients. Good for soil. Plants need moisture, they don't need water. We give too much water sometimes, and that is harmful. Second question they asked, does it matter whether water comes smoothly or in spurts? Because hand pump has a single valve, so water will come and go, spurts. Doesn't matter. What's the lesson? The lesson which we draw from this example, the heuristic that we draw from this example is maximizing output per unit of time is not always good. Some cases it is good. Smoothing the flow of liquid in this case is not always better than the erratic fluid. Now, you know, those of you who are engineers, entrepreneurs, they know about fluid dynamics. We spend a lot of energy in smoothing the flow, but in some cases it adds no value. We spend a lot of energy in maximizing output per unit of time, which is in many cases desirable, but in some cases is not desirable. So he did not put the gearbox, cost became low, innovation was very frugal, and it taught lesson which can be applied in domains other than windmill. So that is the advantage of heuristics, that we can learn them, we can learn at a level of abstraction which can apply in different cases. Let me give one more example of how do we learn from different kinds of ecosystems, different kinds of rules, principles that our society has evolved. We were walking in Purulia, I came across these beautiful terracotta horses under a tree. We had a Shodhyatra there, Purulia and Bankura. So we asked the potters living near the village, आपने ये क्यों इतने सुंदर सुंदर घोड़े यहाँ पर रखे हैं? कोई तोड़ देगा, कोई ले जाएगा, somebody can break them, somebody can take them away. By the time the people had learned that I am a professor, so they said, Professor Saab, we have not kept the beautiful ones, we have kept the best ones. The best ones. But why did you keep the best ones? So that when our children walk by this street, they know what the current standard of the best is, they must do better. Now this is a principle, this is a management principle I have never learned in any book of management, though I teach at IMA. What is the message? The message is open source standard of excellence. That's what our generation has to do. The teachers have to do, the entrepreneurs have to do, Marathwada chambers of industry and agriculture have to do. We must create open source standard of excellence in every domain, in every sector, in sanitation, in cleanliness, in responsibility for elderly people. If there is a place where elderly people go for walk and there is no bench, what are we saying? What are we saying? We are saying that we don't care. We don't care whether they will get tired and they may need some place to sit. Somebody has to go and put a bench there, and maybe several benches there after every 50 yards or 100 yards. So that some people who get tired a little early because they are old, they may need some place to rest. These are attributes of a civilized, a mature, a compassionate society. So we must create benchmarks by which we will measure, and open source standard of excellence is what our country, our culture tells us we must create. Honorable President gives award every 2 years, and India is the only country where the head of the state hosts an exhibition of innovation every year. Mrs. Patil, Pratibha Patil, she started it 5 years ago, and Shri Pranab Mukherjee has continued with it. Every year there is an exhibition of innovation. In March, if you are in Delhi, visit it. We will be happy to share the information about the date. Not only that, he does many more things. Our president has started an effort to set up what he calls as National Innovation Club. And I will request the Vice Chancellor, every college, 500 colleges you have, every college should have a National Innovation Club or a Honeybee Innovation Club. And what would these clubs do? 4 things: search, spread, sense, and celebrate. Search innovations in any field, public system, private system, water filtering, distribution of water, solving a problem, sanitation, education, whatever. search innovations, spread innovations from wherever you can find and tell people, communities around your college or your institution. Sense the unmet needs, which are the problems which need to be solved. Make a note of them. Every student in their neighborhood, in their communities must make a list of unsolved problems. You see here, problems is the trigger. How do I find the problems? I will go to people and figure out. I will observe. And then those problems will become, many times in the kitchen, you have seen, those of you who have made tea or have boiled something would know, how do you lift a hot vessel from the flame on the gas? एक कपड़ा लेते हैं ना साथ में. You have not designed a good tongue. Even among the most educated people sitting around here, घर में कपड़ा use करते हैं हम लोग सब, है ना? Because we couldn't design a proper tongue. There's a problem there. Sometimes ladies use their saris. Sari may be inflammable material. It can catch fire. Accidents take place, unfortunately, because we have not solved that problem. So there are lots of problems around us which need to be solved. And celebrate. Celebrate means invite innovators to your class, to college, to firms. Have an open day for innovation. Let them talk to the workers. Let them talk to the managers. Let them talk to the students. Everyone of us will get inspired and will have energy to do better and better and better. So we could do that. Our former president, Dr. Kalam, every year gives award to children under Ignite. We have got forms here, ignite@nifindia.org. Every student can send an idea. You don't have to have the capability to convert idea into practice, and NIF does that. We have filed 660 patents in the name of innovators. Children who get an award also get an application, copy of the patent application. That boy, Muhammad Anif Patel, when he gave for award, he got a copy of the application that we filed on his behalf for a technology of converting energy from windmill into ceiling fan. So people who are, wherever the ideas are feasible, we give awards, we give file patents for them, we try to take them to the market. I already mentioned about Innovation Club, Search, Spread, Sense, and Celebrate. Large number of innovations. You remember this scooter I already talked to you about. There are large number of such innovations. A coffee machine becoming espresso coffee, a cooker becoming espresso coffee machine. You have seen big machines at the time of marriage functions or parties, isn't it? From which you get the coffee. You don't have to have a big machine. 450 rupees and you have a frothy coffee. Who did that? In Motihari, Champaran, Rosadin, a small person sitting on the roadside repairing cookers. He has done that. So there are ideas which are waiting to be taken to market. Some entrepreneurs here might develop a business. Look at this innovation. Where is it from? Sangli. What has he done? These kids in a polytechnic have designed a solution for places where you need to keep the medicine in the cool temperature. You don't have electricity, you don't have a refrigerator. You don't have electricity to run the refrigerator. So you cycle for 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, you can reduce the temperature from 35 degrees centigrade to 8 degrees centigrade. Isn't it good? Now you can cycle, you can cool down the temperature, you can keep the medicine, life can be saved in a polytechnic. Now this refrigerator, a cycle-powered refrigerator, has it gone to the market? No. Have you heard about it? No. There are large who are solving problems every day, but we don't know about that. My suggestion is, when this angel fund will come about, Marathwada Chambers of Industry and Agriculture will set up an angel fund. You don't have to worry about where the ideas will come from. There are enough ideas waiting to be converted into business. Enough ideas. Enough. A lot of young people, a lot of innovators have these ideas which need to be leveraged. So please give them chance. This is an example of our inertia. We have a gas in our kitchen, and when we cook something, the heat from the कढ़ाई के बराबर में से भगोने के साइड में से heat जाती है ना atmosphere में. Do we use that heat? No. But what do they do in Arku Valley? What do they do in Northeast? Look at this, what this lady has done. She has made a shelf here. On this shelf, she keeps paddy panicles, धान की बालियां रखती है. गर्मी होती है, the rate at which the husk expand is different from the rate at which the grain expands. When she does the threshing of these heated panicles, she has to use less energy. She has converted the waste heat into an effort to reduce her drudgery. उसने इतना अच्छा काम कर लिया. In Meghalaya, they have 4 layers, 1, 2, 3, and on the top there is a bag of seed. Can you imagine how much efficiency they have for harnessing the heat which was going waste? We can learn from these people and make our systems more stable. This is an idea from Kolkata. You know rickshaws, I don't know whether in Aurangabad you have rickshaws, but many cities have rickshaws. And sometimes you see when you get down, when you are on a climb, rickshaw wala gets down. Arnav ne bhi dekha aisa, usko bahut dukh hua कि यार he's pulling the rickshaw, I'm sitting. He said, why can't this person who's sitting here also paddle it? It is called co-creation. Co-creation. The user and the designer, the driver of the system and the user, they co-create solutions. It's a co-creating solutions. Nisha Chaube, she's now in college. When she was in school, she saw many people not having a place to sit in railway station, bus stand. She designed an idea that every stroller must have a folding seat. आप थक गए हैं तो सीट निकालिए बैग में से और बैठ जाइए उसके ऊपर रेलवे स्टेशन पर बैग में. कितना अच्छा आइडिया है. Now this idea needs to go to market. Somebody has to set up an enterprise, sell those strollers with folding seat. She will get royalty and the entrepreneur will make money and meet the need, unmet need of the society. So our children are very creative. He is the youngest award winner of Ignite at the hand of Dr. Kalam, class 1. Can you believe? If Chris Anant can get an award at class 1, there is no reason anybody sitting in this hall cannot be an innovator. One of the purpose of my coming here is to convince all of you that each one of us is capable of solving problem in creative manner. If we are not doing that, it is our inertia, nothing else. So he saw his father doing vacuum cleaning. He has those shoes which make sound. आपने देखा ना वो जूते पहनते बच्चे चूं चूं की आवाज आती है. तो उसने पापा से पूछा मेरे जूते में से आवाज क्यों आ रही है. तो पापा ने बोला एक सीटी है उसके अंदर. सीटी है तो मतलब क्या हुआ, फिर तो हवा बाहर जाती है ना. बोले हाँ, तो हवा अंदर भी आती है सीटी में.